Hello everyone, my name is Grayson Ray and I'm a senior here at Texas Tech, graduating in December, hopefully. This is my oral presentation over my senior thesis project for Capstone Integrative Studies. The complex problem that I'll be discussing within this presentation is the Second Amendment and its indispensability for the welfare of humanity and Americans specifically. Throughout my presentation, you will gain a better understanding about the disciplines I've selected, why I specifically have chosen to utilize such disciplines, and how they both connect to offer solutions to my complex problem that satisfies those with diverse points of view. So to get the ball rolling, I'll give you all a broad overview of what I'll be covering throughout this presentation. First, we will visit the complex problem, then we will move on to the disciplines I've chosen, and then next I will discuss the overall connections between the two disciplines, and then we will transition into my findings. And lastly, I'll offer y'all conclusions with the common goal of bringing multiple solutions to the complex problem at hand that satisfies all parties concerned. So gun control continues to be a common topic voiced at the forefront of the political media on a wide variety of platforms. Society's opinion on gun control varies depending on which part of America you live in, as well as what political party you're a part of. Now, drawing upon an interdisciplinary research method allows a dissimilar approach to offer a better understanding of the contributing factors of gun violence within America, in what circumstance a loved one has been affected, and by what means the problem can be solved. Now, political science and organizational leadership are utilized in order to have a better overall understanding of this complex problem. Through stricter, realistic gun laws for eligible law-abiding citizens, those for gun control and those against it can have the privilege to still practice their right by abiding by the laws that will decrease gun violence. The disciplines of political science and organizational leadership will be utilized to form an objective conclusion as a result of research. The research within these disciplines is directly related to the issue of gun control and will offer solutions to concern that exists, which is the individual rights to bear arms in order to protect themselves. In addition, the topic of using guns for recreational use will be addressed. The disciplines will offer insight on the importance of the Second Amendment and will ensure that the reader is practiced their gun control safely. With appropriate education, gun control can be very effective and even enjoyable at the same time. Some people do not consider that the sole reason that our nation is in order and functioning fluidly is because of firearms and the order that they bring to our society as a whole. Now, political science can be utilized for both sides of this issue. With that being said, political science can guide us in finding ways to adequately practice the Second Amendment so that those that are in doubt of the matter can have respect and can become more educated on the matter. Also, organizational leadership can offer insight from two different perspectives from an organizational standpoint so that the reader can experience an unbiased opinion. In finding satisfactory message which allow individuals to practice the amendment, this will in turn tame those who are opposed to fix the issue at hand. First, by utilizing political science, I want to inform my peers that one, gun control does not reduce gun deaths, largely because it does not actually make it more difficult for people to obtain firearms. And lastly, applying the discipline of political science, shedding light the insight that I have gained through my research, and will ultimately help my peers understand that people are the real issue and not the guns that they're getting their hands on. Now the connection between the two has gone back years. Having the privilege to own a firearm has been around for centuries without any issues until now. Although political science and organizational are very diverse, they go hand in hand, as I've mentioned before, with the main focus being without the right, one could not defend themselves. So there comes a great responsibility to our politicians and those who utilize organizations that track down deaths related to gun violence. And a result of how society reacts to the news being enforced too. With that being said, in order to create common ground between the two, they must work as a team to solve the issue by still offering Americans the right. While conducting my research, there are trends that visit how the welfare of others will be protected by not enforcing laws, as well as how it will be jeopardized. Although it is unfortunate that it has come down to this, I firmly believe that if nonprofit gun control-oriented organizations as well as politicians come together and put aside all biased opinions and beliefs and focus on what is best for their country and the people in it, they can cut deaths in half. So I've combined both of my disciplines in discussing the subject of gun control. Um, so organizational leadership is outlining the gun control issue and efforts to ensure that if laws are enforced, that we still have the right to bear arms according to the new laws enforced. So political science is impending the issue at hand by solving the gun issue at a governmental level, by bringing up the question on what could come of the nation if these laws were enforced or not. So both of these disciplines address the topic in different ways, but each of them must depend on one of the see results ultimately. Gun control is definitely a determining factor in either of the disciplines being productive. And some of my findings, I found it very interesting. It was kind of challenging at first because a lot of the opinions seem fake, biased, unbiased. They just didn't seem very accurate. But I was able to find some that were, scholarly articles, some from law professors and others from databases. But a prime example of what I found from a gun control standpoint is an organization by the name of the Brady Campaign. And this campaign was created by a couple whose mission statement was to create a safer America by diminishing gun death in half by 2020. And that's a pretty bold statement by them. But they have announced that one of their goals is to cut the number on gun deaths in half. And they have a policy basically in place in order to kind of attack that objective. And another good finding from a anti-gun control perspective is from the National Rifle Association. They have multiple articles out that were very informative. The NRA has been around for a long time, and they basically have been around since 1871, and their primary goal was initially to promote and encourage rifle shooting on a scientific basis. But now that is kind of changed, and now one of their main goals is to educate those that are not necessarily uneducated but misinformed about gun control, and kind of coaching them on how to properly handle a gun if that's someone's desired, the benefits of guns, and stuff like that. But both of those were valuable sources on offering unbiased opinions and nothing but the truth. So in conclusion, from the research I've conducted, I've noticed that all of the organizations and leaders within them all have intelligent insights within being scholarly articles, but they both said enforcing stricter laws, such as more extensive background checks, going after the black market, and not allowing just anyone off the streets to purchase a firearm with ease is a possible solution. Politicians and scientists of the sort are also voicing their opinion on what should be done and not done to better our country as a whole. Both disciplines offer very similar insights pertaining to those suffering from the violence, because no one wants to go through that, especially the ones affected. One thing that really stood out to me personally was that alike organizations with the same solutions and viewpoints as politicians are teaming up together to come up with the most effective game plan to bring forward to aid this debate about what is this country needs. There's obviously no immediate solution to fixing gun control, but by combining the leadership with effective political practices, perhaps gun death in America will possibly decline. A mutual end goal of organizations in the political area, as well as the organizations outside of politics, is to be able to protect the people of the United States, but also to make decisions on behalf of U.S. citizens that are effective and are in their best interests. The exploration conducted in these two areas must be able to conjoin to find solutions to the matter. Our safety is vital to our friends and family, so that our lives are not cut short. Experimentations with enforcing laws must continue in order for our fellow Americans to remain safe and be able to protect not only themselves but their family and friends. If we do not do something quick about the mental well-being to those in need, there will ultimately continue to be gun-related deaths. The research and its practices in both fields must be able to partner with each other and give opportunity for both parties to voice concerns so that most effective solutions are created and enforced accordingly. If not, the United States runs the risk of losing more innocent people to gun violence, as well as those who cannot defend themselves due to irrational laws in place. The reality of not being able to protect yourself during such an act is something that to take into consideration, not just for you, but for the sake of your loved ones. Ultimately, through stricter, realistic gun laws for eligible law-abiding citizens, those for gun control, and those against it can have the privilege to still practice the right by abiding by the laws that will decrease gun violence. Thank you.